All right, here we are again with another chapter in the MODIS Playbook, where we are aiming to deconstruct the tactics, processes, insights from across the MODIS community that can be helpful in ramping up your growth even faster. So today we are going to be talking to Dr. Grant Olson from Innovative Dental in Springfield, Missouri. And we're going to be talking about Google 5-star reviews. And the reason we're talking to Dr. Olson about this is because Innovative Dental has one of the most impressive logs of 5-star Google reviews. As you can see, I pulled this yesterday, so I'm sure there's many more by now. But they have over 4,300 5-star Google reviews. And when you dig into it even further, the reviews are constantly coming in kind of every day. So yesterday, the day before that. This is not something that came all at once. This is something that they constantly are building, and has been a really impactful part of what I have come to understand has been the success at Innovative Dental. So thank you, Dr. Olson, for being with us here today. And let's dig in. So why do Google reviews matter to your business, to your team? Why do they matter?
So the reason why any 5-star experience, I mean, obviously Google is what probably most patients are going to be searching on. It's obviously the most used platform, and I think the world. But for the practice sake of people looking into what we do and doing just searching organically, when you have a 5-star review practice that does well in your area, in your competition, it's going to help drive attention to you, right? It's going to bump you in the rankings. But so there's a business aspect of it, right? Just more business for our practices, right? More people landing on our websites, more people seeing what we do. So Google reviews, making that a big part of our efforts to record those is definitely going to drive people to our practice to accept treatment. And couldn't be more important than what we're talking about with implant dentistry, right? I mean, implant dentistry is a high trust treatment, and high trust treatment, obviously, going to do some research, going to look into reputation reviews. And so all of that is going to play. Now, I think the biggest reason for Google reviews is maybe a little different than maybe just the business aspect of it. It's when we have an expectation that we're going to have 5-star reviews be a big part of our practice, it incentivizes and encourages the right type of culture. So it's going to create a practice full of people all aligned with one simple focus, right? I mean, we have so many things that can distract us, take our energy in multiple different directions. They're all important. You know, we could argue that they're all important. But what is more important than the one thing of giving somebody a 5-star experience in our office? What does that look like? It's world-class service. It's full attention to our patients. It's full smile, full engagement. It's knowing their name. It's knowing who they are. It's all the things you would expect from a 5-star resort. It's where the 5-star comes from, right? So if any of us have been to a 5-star resort, or Ritz-Carlton's a good example, the adoption of this high touch, high relationship experience is what we want to be about at MODIS. And so it's really impacted our reputation, and obviously the Google reviews drive business. So hopefully that kind of gives you an all-encompassing view of what makes 5-star reviews important. It isn't just business. It's also, it drives behavior.
Great. I love the simplicity of that metric for all-encompassing, culture, service at the practice. So what is your process for encouraging Google 5-star reviews within your practice?
Sure. So what you talk about, what you encourage, what you celebrate is what you're going to get, right? So it's pretty simple. How are we proactive about this? We constantly talk about it. We constantly celebrate it. I beat the dead horse every week. The team's tired of probably hearing me celebrate and be excited about 5-star reviews, but I always constantly realign them that, hey, we got to remind ourselves this is the differentiating factor. Everybody else can go out and buy cone beam. Everybody else can go out and buy a CEREC, buy nice implants, can get the training for doing the implant dentistry. What is super hard to do is over time develop a culture that values this 5-star world-class experience and does it day in and day out, and then obviously has a system to record it. So, I'm sure we'll get to that here in a second, but really it's constantly reading them, right? We read them pretty much daily. If not daily, we definitely do it weekly. We celebrate the team members that are involved, so they're recognized for their efforts. Sometimes we do. We've changed up the incentive plans multiple times in our last 12 years of business to constantly adapt and keep people excited about this kind of idea of getting 5-star reviews. And so, it isn't, by the way, and I said this at the beginning, but it isn't just about tallying getting 5-star reviews. That's what we've got to really make sure the teams understand, right? If that's what it is, then it's kind of like revenue. Did we just show up just to make money today? And you will lose a culture really fast, because then nobody can be excited about something they can contribute and get that's way beyond just a paycheck. It's the sense that I contributed to a vision and a mission and something that's really, really important and impacts people's lives. And that's really why this encouraging of celebrating somebody who gave an over-the-top experience. They held a baby for a mom that was getting a filling. We're going to celebrate that, right? We're going to be like, that's awesome. Somebody stepped in, was a human, cared for another individual, and made the mom relax while she's getting her filling done, right? We've seen that. That's been an example. Going out of the way and celebrating somebody's birthday while they're in our office. That's 5-star experience. When we mess up, or maybe there's just a misunderstanding and we make it right just on the spot, no, I'm going to need to go see a manager. That's a 5-star experience. So there's all things that we can think about that might be top-notch experience. And we want to be really focused at celebrating those and really making sure our team gets recognized consistently. And it is repetitive, right? Success, in order to be successful long-term, you're going to have to get over the fact that you're going to be repetitive. You're going to say the same thing over and over again. You're going to repeat it every week. That's what good organizations do. How many professional athletes have heard the same phrases from their coach since they were 8 years old, right? And they're in the pros, and they're probably hearing some of the same phrases. It's because to be at a top-notch and high level, we constantly have to remind ourselves of the basics. To me, it doesn't get more basic than 5-star experiences for our patients.
That's awesome. One of the things that I've heard you talk about, and I've seen in action in your practice, is how you speak to a patient about a 5-star review.
Correct.
So if you make this a priority for your team, if you're constantly celebrating it, it's a hard thing for team members sometimes to ask for a 5-star review. But the way that you guys go about it, the script you use, I think is brilliant. Would you mind taking me through what that kind of script is for speaking to a patient about helping you out with this?
Yeah. So first and foremost, it is not about the 5-star review. I know that sounds crazy. We're talking about getting 5-star reviews. How do you build a practice? It is not about the 5-star review. It is about the 5-star experience for the patient, right? That is the purpose of even talking about 5-star reviews. So we have to make sure our team gets that. Like, hey, why do we even celebrate 5-star reviews? It's because we are committed to 5-star experiences. Now, we're going to deliver 5-star experiences. We've incentivized it. We've encouraged it. We've celebrated it. So the patient is going to get a 5-star experience more often than not. If we're doing our job right, and as leaders of our practice, we're really elevating this priority in our practice, right? So once we've done that, now what most people do is high five the patient, who's super excited, by the way. The patient's probably over the top. You gave them great experience that they typically don't get at a dental office, because most people are just going through the motions in life. And so you've set the bar high, you've given them a great experience, and then you just say, awesome, see you next time. You missed it, right? It's a missed opportunity. All you had to do is say to the patient, hey, I hope you had a great experience today. Is there anything we could have done to make it better? Patients typically, right? It's a loaded question. You already know the answer, hopefully. And the patient's going to go, no, it was awesome. Great. So would you consider it a 5-star experience? Well, yeah, of course it's a 5-star experience, the patient says. Awesome. Then what do we do? Send them out the door. No, we got to ask them, hey, would you mind sharing that? Right? So a patient goes, I had a great experience. And you ask them, would you mind sharing that? What are they going to say? They're going to say yes, right? The next response is just natural. We all would go, sure, yeah, I would love to share that. Great, would you please do that? Would you mind doing that on Google or Facebook or Yelp and sharing it online? Sure, yeah, no problem. Then what do most people do? If they get this far, they say, thank you, awesome, high five, and they get them out the door, right? First thing the patient's going to do is they're going to go get in their car and they're going to check their text messages. They're going to get an email. They're going to get a phone call, and they're going to get distracted. They had intentions of leaving you a 5-star review, but because we didn't do it in a time that actually honored their focus to do so, they get distracted, just like we do. We all do this. I mean, I've been to countless restaurants where I've been blown away by the service, and at some point I thought about giving them a 5-star review, and I get on with my life and I forget about it, right? So I've tried to be more intentional now that I preach this to our team, but it's critical that we capitalize on the time of them being in our office. How do we do that? Well, we just be honest with them. Say, great, I'm so glad that you're willing to give this great review. Would you mind doing it while you're here? And patients go, well, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, no problem. And as a thank you for your time, I'm going to go make you a beverage. I'm going to go get you this amazing like Bluetooth speaker. Like right now we change it up a little bit. We have like an $8 Bluetooth speaker that we have that's pretty cool for the summertime. But the point is we're going to get them some sort of gift for their time. This is the critical thing. It's a gift for their time, not for the review, because we've already gotten a full-on verbal commitment they're going to leave the review, right? We're just now saying, okay, if you'll do it while you're here before you leave our practice, we would definitely thank you for your time by giving you a simple gift. And it doesn't have to be extravagant. What we've learned is this is a nuance that really matters. We're not saying, would you leave a review and I'll give you a gift? That is the wrong way. First of all, you didn't even care to hear if they had any concerns. But the way it's going to come off to the patient is clearly a bribe. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's that subtlety of getting them to agree to the review all along the lines of at first introing into the conversation saying, is there, do you feel like this is a 5-star experience today, or is there anything I could have done better to make your next visit more enjoyable, right? That's a simple question that I think a lot of people avoid. And if you just ask it knowing you're probably given 5-star experiences, they're going to say yes. It's an easy transition. You need to rehearse this with the team. So this is something we practice over and over again. We're still not perfect at it, just like free throws, right? You practice them over and over again, you're going to miss them. And so this is something that as a team, we need to be really good at doing. But first and foremost, I never want to lose sight of it. I wouldn't want our team to behave this way, and I wouldn't want any MODIS partner to get the understanding that, hey, let's just go start giving gifts for reviews. No, first and foremost, the whole purpose of this, give 5-star experiences. And then let's not waste those experiences without documenting them. All we're asking the patient to do is, hey, help us document this thing. And it's worked for us. And it's been consistent, obviously, for, we're at 12 years now of getting reviews. I don't know what that averages out to, but it takes time to build it, but by far sets us apart. You can imagine if somebody's looking at a comparison of full arch implant dentistry, for example, and they go to a place that has 100 reviews, or they land on ours and has over 4,000, who do you think is going to likely get the business, right? So it is incredibly valuable. And that other practice might have been a great practice. Maybe they just didn't care enough or had a system in place to document it. So
absolutely, I love that script that you give, in practice with your team, because it feels caring and authentic, but also a way to just capture the moment while people are there, which is so hard to do. That's awesome. One really tactical question: does your team carry around any like a QR code to take people directly to Google reviews? Okay.
Yeah.
Unlike their
Yeah, I don't have one on the back of my ID, but all of our team has these to get through our office. It's just a little ID, but you could make these for your team, but it just have a QR code on the back. So our team members have that. The patient can scan it. And I would say doctors, I try not to ever expect my team to do what I won't do. So that means even flipping rooms or sterilization. So, doesn't mean I do it very often, but I definitely will jump in. So I would say with 5-star reviews, there's been a number of patients where I will model this in front of 1 or 2 team members after I take a photo with them after treatment. And I'll just ask them, hey, I can tell they've had a great experience, and I'll walk through it. Once again, I'll say, hey, is there anything we could have done to make this better, Tammy? We're so thrilled you chose us. I just want to know, as a provider, we're done with your smile now. You're leaving to go eat everything you want and smile. What could we have done? What did we miss? Nothing. I love it. Awesome, Tim. It's the best thank you to us, because she's already going, thanks so much, guys. You guys are amazing. the best thing you can give me is a 5-star review on Google, because what it does is it communicates your experience that I know is great to future patients that might, trust us. By the way, did you find us on Google? And almost every patient's like, yeah. So this is just a nice way to pay it forward. Would you mind doing that? Yes, Dr. Olson, I'd love to. Great. As a gift for your time, or if you do it here, I'd be happy to go get you a Frappuccino in one of our new tumblers. Would that be good? Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of dialogue. And so modeling that for our team, it'll build, build a kind of a authentic trust component, that we're not just asking them to do something that might be a little awkward at first for them to have that conversation, but we're willing to do it ourselves too and model it for them.
I love that. I think that gets to the heart of the next question I have here, which is how you get your team on board with this. I think giving that script, modeling the script, practicing the script is a huge, huge key. You also mentioned earlier that this is part of your team's incentive program. And it's something that you guys talk about regularly. Can you talk me through a few of the details around the incentive program for the team and how you bring it to life, on a regular basis by talking about this, where you do that, where you talk about this process?
So this is something that's constantly evolved. I mean, I don't know, maybe some practices just have set up an incentive plan and it's been the same for a decade. My experience is that it hasn't. Incentive plans kind of lose their luster, right? So we kind of change them up, and we've had multiple different ones. I'll throw out a few ideas that have worked. Drawings around like a really nice. It depends on your team, right? I mean, if you've got mine happens to be all women, so like a handbag or a massage or maybe a dinner, a couple $100, something like that, and then we kind of track it throughout the month, and we give that. We've done it as, if you want to qualify for our overall incentive plan, you need to get a certain volume of reviews in a month, right? So we've had that be a part of qualifying for reviews. So I think the main thing is just celebrating it consistently, making it fun and tracking it. The other thing is you have to read them out in front of the whole team at a morning huddle. I mean, if you're just getting the reviews and not doing that, it's probably not gonna take off. I will say this strategy, as simple as it is, right? I explained it in probably, we're at 18 minutes in. I explained this in 15 minutes. It is a multi-million-dollar strategy. Sounds silly, right? We should be like, man, zygomatic implants and all these crazy things we can do with dentistry today and saving or restoring a mouth. That should be the $1 million difference. And I would say absolutely not. It's as simple as, how do we start strategizing about patient care being at top notch? This does it. And then documenting it for future business. This is also a great marketing plan, right? And how many patients have chosen us and trusted us with little amounts of money and lots of money, right? I don't know how to even put an ROI on it, but I can tell you it's been worth millions and millions of dollars to our practice from a business standpoint. And then obviously it's created a culture that I think continues to excel around how do we continue to giving our patients 5-star experiences. So
amazing. Perfect. One thing you did mention, Dr. Olson, before we move on to the last question here is,
sure.
You need to ask the patient if they actually did have it. It's all about actually delivering the 5-star experience. So sometimes you come across patients who don't have a 5-star experience. It happens once in a while. Things get mixed up. People have bad days, whatever. We'll have a whole session on your program for dealing with people who don't have 5-star experiences in practice. But can you talk for a minute about identifying the patients that you ask for a 5-star review from?
One of the things that we've learned to really hire on, so this might be you're going to have people on your team that maybe just don't have this social skill, but I would say it's hard to train. But hiring around this is a big deal. I would much rather have a team full of high social IQ that can pick up on patients' mannerisms, right? if they're smiling, if they're laughing, if you tease them and they engage, right? If we play music and their foot is tapping along, if we say something positive and they respond positively, right? All of these factors are giving us a sense, are they having a good experience? And so, you obviously want to load this. If you've got someone that you could tell for whatever reason, maybe it's your fault, maybe it's not, that they're not having a good experience, don't go this path, right? Ask them, hey, is there anything we could have done to make this better? But maybe don't push towards the review. Push towards, hey, we'll make a note. I didn't realize that, country music wasn't your favorite. We won't play that next time, or whatever thing it might be for the patient. But I think the social skills of getting the body language, their tone, how much they engage with you. Not everyone is probably somebody you're going to want to pursue the 5-star review with because of the social cues you get back. But then it's going to be very clear those that are, you should be doing that. I would say as a team member, if you never are able to feel comfortable asking for a 5-star review, then maybe we're not giving a 5-star experience. And so that's the accountability component. So if someone's going, man, I struggle, Dr. Olson. I know you want to get 5-star reviews, but I never feel like I can do that. So we probably want to figure out what part of the relationship process of the dental patient are they not engaging in that would make them comfortable and the patient happy to leave that review.
All right. Final advice for people wanting to put this in place in summary.
So as with anything, it's practice makes perfect. And even like my coach used to say, and I think it was freshman and high school, was perfect practice makes perfect. So, we need to really practice this with our teams, engage with them on it. Start with the idea of its priority is about we want to be a practice known for caring for people, right? What I absolutely love about MODIS, being MODIS partners, being a part of this vision, being Innovative Dental, is we're not selling our soul to make a buck, right? We're about patient care. We're about giving the best to people, caring for them in a loving, kind way, setting aside our differences as people and coming together and creating a smile, right? And so in doing so, we should be creating this 5-star experience for these patients. And so that's what I love about the MODIS vision and this whole idea about, world-class service to our patients. So start with that basic understanding for your team. If you're not constantly sharing that, I know every partner feels that way. So if we're not constantly sharing that maybe that's where we start, right? Don't start with day one, go, hey, we're going to get 5-star reviews today, right? Maybe start with, let's regroup around this idea of loving and caring, servicing our patients to the best of our ability to make sure that they wouldn't go anywhere else in our area and find a better, more caring group of people, right? That's the place to start. Once you've got that, then it's time to start converting that into a living, lifelong, basically returning benefit of a review. And so then start implementing the process, practicing with your team. And as I've kind of already shared, it starts with you as the doctor. We can't expect our teams to do what we won't do and can't do very well ourselves. And so I would start with first being able to explain why 5-star reviews are so important, and it's about the 5-star experience. And then second, practice the script I gave earlier about how we would engage with a patient that we've given an amazing experience to, and we want to document it. So.
Well, thanks so much for your time today, Dr. Olson. As you said, I think the 5-star review prioritization and process you put in place at Innovative Dental has been a multi-million-dollar idea for you, and will be great to share with the rest of the MODIS community. So thanks for your time today, and that sums up another chapter in the MODIS Playbook.
Sweet.
Until next time.
Thanks.